Taisutian, cultivation unknown. A mysterious existence nurtured by the 33-layered heavens. She lives in Nivel Imperial Palace all year round and listens to the sages preach. Under the orders of the sage, she descended into the mortal world and entered the calamity. Tao Comprehension Sword was created as one of her clones to comprehend the Tao. Greedy Lord, 6 mystic divine origin, the first servant of immortal Emperor Samsara. He obeyed immortal Emperor Samsara, but as his cultivation level increased, he gradually gained his own ambitions. Hanju showed a frown. It was Taisutian. Taisutian's portrait was different from Tao Comprehension Sword, so he had never connected them together. He didn't expect Taisutian to have a clone. Wait! In addition to the heaven-mending stone that Taisutian had thrown to Feng Liang, Nivel Imperial Palace had definitely targeted him. Hanju felt his blood run cold. If he didn't have the system, he wouldn't have been able to sense the existence of Nivel Imperial Palace. The heaven-mending stone could be regarded as Feng Liang's fortuitous encounter, and Tao Comprehension Sword's previous owner did not leave any clues. The sages were high and mighty. They said that they wouldn't enter the calamity, but they were actually secretly manipulating the situation. Zhu Tu seemed to be a pawn of Nivel Imperial Palace. As for this greedy lord, Hanju had never heard of him before. From his appearance, he was extremely ugly. Why did he have to pretend to be Hanju? Could this be the instructions of immortal Emperor Samsara? No! The greatest winner in the future would be Greedy Lord, not immortal Emperor Samsara. New SD rise at NVEL-BIN. In addition, the information indicated that Greedy Lord had his own ambitions. It meant that this fellow had already become rebellious. He might even harm immortal Emperor Samsara in the future. How interesting! Hanju laughed in anger. The immortal world was really complicated. Other than the big shots on the surface, many people were hiding in the dark waiting for an opportunity. Hanju wondered if he should directly curse Taisutian and Greedy Lord? No! If he killed them like this, something might happen again. He would wait for a while and deal with them after they surfaced. They definitely didn't expect Hanju to already know their plot. With their strength, it was impossible for them to overturn the heavenly court in a short period of time, much less threaten the hidden sect. Hanju called Tao Comprehension Sword in. He seemed to be preaching the Tao for her, but in fact, he took the opportunity to deepen the 6 paths insignia to prevent Taisutian from playing any tricks. The 6 paths insignia didn't affect Tao Comprehension Sword normally. Hanju was only making preparations. Too many mighty figures had perished. Hanju had to be cautious. Even Zenith Heaven experts could die, let alone him. In a vast underground cave, countless figures gathered. There were people, demons, and ghosts. Wearing a black robe, Xian Qingjun mixed into the crowd. She looked ahead. Several kilometers away, there was a high platform. On the platform stood dozens of existences emitting powerful auras. They were discussing something. I didn't expect the Darkness sect to be mixed with so many factions. Where did the Dark Forbidden Lord come from? Xian Qingjun was shocked. She had joined the Darkness sect by chance. As for the Jia school, she felt that there was no future for her there. The sect master of the Jia school no longer cared about anything. The elders and the island masters were fighting openly and secretly. They were no longer the Providence sect of the legends. They were more like a crazy mob. After a while, a voice sounded, "Quiet!" All the waiting disciples of the Darkness sect shut up and turned to look. If Hanju was here, he would discover that the speaker was Shuemingyi, who had escaped from the 9 nether purgatory. Shuemingyi, whose body was burning with blood qi, stood at the edge of the platform and looked down at everyone. He said, "There are too many detestable people in the current immortal world pretending to be the Dark Forbidden Lord, including Zhu Tu of the Divine Palace. We're all believers of the Dark Forbidden Lord. How can we tolerate this? We have to do something for him. Unconsciously, he will watch us and look forward to our performance." Do you want to gain the Dark Forbidden Lord's favor? Everyone became excited. Yes. The shouts gathered together and shook the entire underground cave. Xianqing was also shocked. This was the first time she had seen such a scene in the immortal world. She had never seen it in the Jie school before. She couldn't understand. Why was the Dark Forbidden Lord so charismatic? Although he was indeed very strong and had forced the heavenly Tao Buddha and the demon emperor to die, he had never appeared. Xuanmingdi continued with a smile. Since some time ago, the myriad worlds had been divided by the divine palace, the heavenly court, the Buddhist sect, and the demon court. They are high and mighty and set the rules of the myriad worlds. However, from time to time, conflicts will erupt between them, causing countless living beings to rush to the netherworld and even perish in body and soul. However, no matter how many wars there are, the ones who will die will always be us, the weak factions. The four overlords are still overlords, and all living beings are pawns in their game. As they laugh, countless living beings will die. This despairing situation is finally broken. It's him, the Dark Forbidden Lord. He appeared out of nowhere and cursed the Buddhist sect's heavenly Tao Buddha to reveal his true form. The mighty Buddhist sect actually had the devil ancestor becoming a Buddha. It's truly ridiculous. There's also the demon emperor who went mad and slaughtered the immortal world. The heavenly emperor, the master of the divine palace, and the Buddha didn't dare to attack. It was also the Dark Forbidden Lord who personally took action to eliminate this disaster. Now, the world is filled with fake Dark Forbidden Lords. This is an insult to him. We have to represent the orthodox lineage of the Dark Forbidden Lord and eliminate these imposters. Because only we truly fear the Dark Forbidden Lord and truly respect him. I, Xuanmingdi, represent the Ajura race to join the Darkness sect. When the calamity begins, the Ajura race will definitely be the first. Are you all willing to sacrifice everything for the Dark Forbidden Lord and the whole world? All the living beings shouted in unison. Even Xianqing felt her blood boiling. This belief was too strong. It could let the Darkness sect become united. As long as the Dark Forbidden Lord did not lose, the Darkness sect would be an invincible army. Xianqing was also looking forward to it. Perhaps following the Darkness sect would allow her to obtain a great opportunity in the calamity. She couldn't help but think of Hanju. His strength had already surpassed hers, but he was timid by nature and was afraid of the calamity. After this calamity ends, if the Darkness sect can laugh until the end, I can help introduce him. Xianqing smiled. Back then, in order to comprehend the Tao, she accidentally found Hanju to be her Tao companion. After so many years, the only person she could remember was him. The others had already turned to dust. 10 years passed. Hanju stopped cultivating and started cursing the enemy. Tao Comprehension Sword was basically staying outside the cave and cultivating with Li Yao. Unless Hanju called for her, she wouldn't take the initiative to return. Hanju sighed. It was true that girls like to leave home after reaching maturity. At the same time, he relaxed a lot. With Tao Comprehension Sword beside him, he would always be a little wary. Hanju cursed as he checked his emails regularly. Nothing major had happened recently. The emails looked boring. A month later, Hanju put down the Book of Misfortune. He suddenly had an idea. I want to see what Greedy Lord is doing, Hanju thought silently. 10 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? After all, he was a sixth mystic divine origin expert. He was very close to the Zenith Heaven realm. However, 10 million years of lifespan was nothing to the current Hanju. Hanju silently made his choice. Immediately after, he felt dizzy. When he opened his eyes again, he was in a dark palace. A figure sat in the hall. It was Greedy Lord. He was dressed in white and his black hair was naturally disheveled. His face was ugly and his facial features were distorted as if they had been crushed into a ball. His hands kept changing hand seals as he cultivated. At this moment, immortal Emperor Samsara appeared in front of him. It was still Di Taibai's appearance. Greedy Lord hurriedly knelt down and bowed humbly. Immortal Emperor Samsara said, "The two geniuses I nurtured have already entered the calamity. Don't stay idle. Go and protect them. Remember, don't be discovered by them." Hearing this, Greedy Lord replied, "No problem." Immortal Emperor Samsara flipped his right hand and took out a purple divine jade. He handed it to Greedy Lord and said, "This treasure is for you, just in case." Greedy Lord was pleasantly surprised and immediately thanked Immortal Emperor Samsara. Immortal Emperor Samsara vanished. Greedy Lord put away the Dharma treasure and continued cultivating. The scene shattered. Hanju's consciousness returned to reality. He frowned. That's it? 10 million years of lifespan in exchange for this? Hanju felt cheated. It was so uncomfortable. He saw nothing. He only saw a character relationship that he knew all along. Hanju didn't dare to look at Taisu Tian anymore. Forget it. In any case, these two couldn't threaten Hanju for the time being. They were still very weak for the time being. Hanju only needed to observe their cultivation level and kill them before they obtained a great opportunity. I can't change the situation too early, or new and stronger figures will appear. Hanju thought silently. After all, he didn't enter the tribulation. Under such circumstances, everything he did could easily be used by others. Then, he stopped thinking and continued cultivating. He wanted to reach the true mystic divine origin as soon as possible. Even if he reached the deity realm, his cultivation could not stop. He had to strengthen steadily. 30 years passed in the blink of an eye. Hanju's cultivation level had been increasing. The deity realm cultivated divine origin, which was also a form of dharmic powers. He no longer cultivated using chi but absorbed negative karma. After reaching the deity realm, immortal chi would lose its effect. Deity realm cultivators needed higher level energy. Hanju discovered that the connate chi emitted by the Buzhou divine flower was suitable for deity realm cultivation. However, there was only one Buzhou divine flower, and it couldn't be given to Hanju to cultivate. He was only nurturing the Buzhou divine flower now and didn't use it. What was worth mentioning was that the resurrection lily given by Mengpa had been increasing. Now, the field of lilies had already reached the outside of the cave abode. Hanju didn't stop it and let it grow. The immortal chi of Hidden Sect Island increased steadily. While Hanju became stronger, the other disciples also became stronger. Among them, Liao had already reached the late-stage Grand Unity Golden Immortal Realm. Only Chu Shuren could compare. Mu Rongqi and Lu Huaxu were slightly weaker. Pan Xian didn't look for him again. Besides cultivating, Hanju would also pay attention to the nether race. The fiends gathered in a corner of the 9 nether purgatory. There was no land, no food, and even no enemies. They could only cultivate endlessly. Hanju discovered that the nether race had the strong physique of the Magus race and also the essence soul of the human race. They didn't look like Diamond Rage but more like Tu Linger. They bore the good qualities of both humans and magi perfectly. This race had great potential. Hanju kept hesitating if he should accept them. Empress Huta was clearly expressing her goodwill to him. They had a total of 10,000 people. Without reproduction, they were still a small group. But in the future, they would definitely become a powerful force. Let's observe for another 1,000 years. If they all have the mentality to cultivate diligently, we can nurture them. Hanju thought like this. There was still the real world hidden in the depths of his soul. It was fine if there was another race, but he was afraid that this race would not be able to tolerate loneliness and cause trouble for him. Just as Hanju was cursing and thinking about these questions, Jiang Yi's divine sense aura came from the golden crow token. Hanju took it out and contacted him. Don't talk to me about opportunities. Hanju said angrily. Jiang Yi said angrily, who do you think I am? Then what is it? It's like this. After I returned to the Golden Crow Divine Clan, I discovered that the clan has changed. The elders have become radical. All of them want to enter the calamity and rule the myriad worlds. If this continues, I'll probably be unable to cultivate properly in the future and be forced to enter the calamity to fight. Speaking of this, Jiang Yi was very troubled. Ever since he knew Hanju's cultivation level, he had an epiphany. He had risked his life to fight for Providence and opportunities, but Hanju had overtaken him and even left him far behind. How could he stand it? He was the #1 prodigy of the Golden Crow Divine Clan. The path of entering the tribulation was clearly wrong. Hanju was right. Prodigies like them didn't need to enter the calamity at all. Entering the tribulation was a waste of time. Hanju said, in that case, leave the Golden Crow Divine Clan and find a place to cultivate. The world is vast and there are battles everywhere. Where can I go? I don't want to join the heavenly court. Jiang Yi's tone was filled with helplessness. Hanju understood what he meant. He snorted. Then, there's no choice. Everyone has their own fate. Just accept it. Brat, do you dislike me so much? Back then, the Golden Crow Divine Emperor chased after you. I stood up for you and was almost beaten to death by him. Jiang Yi's tone was very bitter. Hanju almost had goosebumps. He did remember this matter. Jiang Yi really did that for him. Thinking of this, Hanju couldn't help but become soft-hearted. He hesitated and then said, then, you can come to seek refuge with me. But there's one thing. Here, you will listen to me. I won't let you take the risk, but I won't let you act recklessly either. Jiang Yi chuckled. That's more like it. Where are you? I'll go find you. Hanju silently used the derivation function. Is Jiang Yi plotting against me? 1,000,000 years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. No! Hanju was relieved. He suddenly realized that the derivation function could also be used as a lie detector. It could be used like this in the future. 9 Nether Purgatory. What? Yes. Are you coming? Are you crazy? Jiang Yi was shocked. He felt that Hanju was joking. Hanju snorted. Don't expose me. If you really want to come, you can think of a way to enter the 9 Nether Purgatory. Remember, you can't tell anyone about this, including your clansmen. Otherwise, we will cut ties. All right. Just you wait. Jiang Yi ended the divine sense connection after saying that. He was clearly agitated. Hanju put down the Golden Crow token and couldn't help but sigh. The hidden sect had strengthened again. Unknowingly, the #1 prodigy of the Golden Crow Divine Clan had also joined. However, Jiang Yi might not really leave the clan. It wasn't bad to form goodwill in the future. No matter how powerful a force was, it was impossible for them to not have good karma. The Demon Court was related to many ancient races, the Heavenly Court was backed by the Tao sect, and the Divine Palace was closely related to the human race's sacred dynasty. The Buddhist sect also had countless believers. Hanju continued cursing. After cursing all his enemies, he continued cultivating. Several months passed. Empress Huta came. Her aura filled the 9 Nether Purgatory, but she did not say a word. After Hanju sensed her aura, he knew that she was looking for him. Empress Huta looked at the Nether race from afar. It was unknown what she was thinking. Previously, Hanju had only communicated with Empress Huta with his divine sense. This was the first time he had seen the real deal. She floated in the void, dressed in a long golden dress. The hem of the dress shimmered with all sorts of stars and was dazzling. She was barefoot and wore a long feather embedded with a mysterious bird. Her facial features were exquisite and beautiful, and there was kindness between her brows. A wheel-shaped halo with a total of 6 colors floated behind her as it spun slowly. Empress, do you have something to instruct me? Hanju asked. Empress Huta's gaze landed on him. She smiled and said, I want to give you an opportunity. Hanju felt his scalp tingle when he heard the word opportunity. In the past, so many opportunities that hid deep pits had made him believe that opportunities were equivalent to danger. Thank you for your kind intentions, Empress. Forget about the opportunity. I just want to cultivate diligently. Hanju braced himself and replied. Empress Huta smiled and said, What are you thinking about? I've already brought you the opportunity. With a flip of her fair hand, a jade sword appeared in her hand. This is a merit Dharma treasure, the immeasurable sword. It can absorb heavenly Tao merit. As the nether race grows stronger, the heavenly Tao merit you obtain will increase. The merit you can't digest in time can be stored in this treasure. With that said, Empress Huta threw the immeasurable sword out. The immeasurable sword was only 30 centimeters long. Rather than calling it a sword, it was more like a dagger. It was entirely green jade and felt cold to the touch. Hanju felt relieved and thanked her. Thank you, Empress. Empress Huta smiled and asked, How's the nether race? Hanju pulled the immeasurable sword into the Khanate cave abode and replied, Very high potential. It has the advantages of both the Magus race and the human race. It's just that it seems, Empress Huta said, they can't reproduce, right? Yes. This is their flaw. Therefore, my plan is not to make them the protagonists of the heavenly Tao. Like the humans, they are to be spread throughout the worlds. I want them to shoulder the responsibility of the immortals and serve all living beings. If they can't reproduce, it will prevent many conflicts over inheritance. However, other than inheritances, their own cultivation will also involve conflicts of interest. Besides, if they become stronger, they will definitely find a way to have descendants. No, they can't reproduce because of the heavenly Tao. They can't use any method to produce descendants. I sacrificed the future of the Magus race in exchange for the birth of the Nether race. Hanju remained silent. He didn't believe everything she said. After all, Diamond Rage and Tu Linger were still around. The two of them could find someone else to marry and have children. Sooner or later, they would develop the Magus race. It's not only the Nether race. Diamond Rage and Tu Linger are the same. They will be cursed by the heavenly Tao and will never be able to reproduce. The good thing is that they will not be affected by negative karma. From now on, they can openly travel the worlds. Empress Huta's tone was rather helpless. Hanju was secretly shocked. How ruthless. Empress Huta said, I acknowledge your potential. Not only me, but there are actually other sages paying attention to you. You're a variable. I hope that you can accept the Nether race. This way, I can focus on managing the cycle of reincarnation. And trusting him with them? One day, you will need to preach the Tao, just like how ancestor Shitian taught you the Tao of karma. The more cultivators there are in the Tao of karma, the stronger he will become. This is a win-win situation. It is very hard to attain the Tao as a lone individual. Of course, after you accept the Nether race, if you encounter any trouble in the future, feel free to look for me, Empress Huta said with sincerity. Hanju thought silently, if I accept the Nether race, will I be controlled by Empress Hutu or the heavenly Tao? 100 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Previously, when he asked, his lifespan had not been deducted. Could it be that it did not involve the karma of the future? Hanju had no choice but to continue. Another 100 million was used. No! It was worth 100 million. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Empress Hutu didn't plot against him. He immediately replied, in that case, leave the Nether race to me. Empress Huta's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 4.5 stars. Empress Huta smiled and said, not bad. In the future, you will understand that I'm not harming you. With that, her aura vanished. Hanju looked at the Nether race and directly used his divine sense to move them into the hidden sect island. The hidden sect island was very big now. Not to mention 10,000, 10 million people were not a problem. After landing, the members of the Nether race all panicked. This was the first time they had encountered such a situation. At this moment, Hanju's voice sounded. Empress Hutu entrusted you to me. I was also the one who named you the Nether race. From now on, you can stay on the island and cultivate in peace. There are disciples of my hidden sect on the island. All of you must cultivate diligently and not have any conflicts. Not only could the Nether race hear his voice, but everyone from the hidden sect also heard it. Everyone under the Fusong tree immediately flew over, very curious about the Nether race. Empress Hutu, Chu Shuren muttered. Beside him, Black Hell Demon Lord sighed. Sect Master has always been in seclusion, but he can always expand his network. He's really impressive. Even a sage has entrusted him with a race. It seems that even if our sect master isn't a sage, he's not far from one. The Black Hell Chicken said proudly, I've already guessed that Master is the reincarnation of the Tao ancestor. He's even more powerful than the heavenly Tao. The speaker did not mean anything, but the listener felt something. Chu Shuren frowned after hearing this. For a time, Hidden Sect Island became lively again. Hanju hesitated. Empress Hutu's words frightened him. There were other sages targeting him? Apart from Ancestor Shitian's group and the Nuwa Imperial Palace who had designs on him, who else could it be? What kind of existence are sages? Could it be that all the worlds are in their eyes? The more Hanju thought about it, the more his blood ran cold. Fortunately, sages could not enter the world. Otherwise, how could he feel safe? No! He had to hurry up and become stronger. He had to increase the array formation of the Tao field to the level of a sage. At that time, even a sage wouldn't be able to break in. Hanju's eyes became firm. He continued cultivating. 25 years later, Jiang Yi finally arrived at the Nine Nether Purgatory. He didn't shout or scream. Instead, he erupted his aura and waited for Hanju to come and fetch him. Who didn't know that all the vengeful spirits of the Nine Nether Purgatory had run to the immortal world? This negative karma is really strong. How did he survive? Jiang Yi was secretly shocked and suddenly started to admire Hanju. A powerful divine sense wrapped around him. Before he could react, he was moved into the Hidden Sect Island and landed under the Fusong tree. As soon as he landed, Jiang Yi took out his Dharma treasure in fear and prepared to fight. In the end, he saw people around him looking at him with strange expressions. There were 2 golden crows on the tree. This is the #1 prodigy of the Golden Crow Divine Clan, Jiang Yi. He will also join the Hidden Sect to cultivate in the future. Hanju's voice came from the Khanate cave abode. He wasn't afraid that Jiang Yi would show off. Just the Black Hell Demon Lord and Diamond Rage were enough to suppress him, let alone the existence of Lu Bu. The Black Hell Demon Lord clicked his tongue in wonder. Why are the geniuses of the Golden Crow Divine Clan here? Previously, when the Demon Emperor tried to rope you in, didn't you reject him and say that you would only serve the Golden Crow Divine Clan? Jiang Yi glanced around and snorted. I'm Hanju's good brother. Our relationship is extraordinary. He begged me to come, so how can I not? I'll also show you what talent is. Cultivate well in the future and catch up to me. A newcomer is already so arrogant after just entering. I have to teach him a lesson. It was very perceptive. Hanju didn't even invite Jiang Yi to the cave abode, which meant that their relationship was not that deep. Jiang Yi was immediately displeased. Although the Black Hell Demon Lord was very strong, he did not feel any despair. This meant that the difference between them was not great. Spar? Jiang Yi glared at him. The Black Hell Demon Lord smiled and said, All right, let's enter the Sect Master's simulation trial. Simulation trial? What's that? Sect Master's mystical power that is specially used for fighting. There are also powerful opponents that Sect Master has experienced fighting before. Even the Demon Emperor, the Heavenly Emperor, the Master of the Divine Palace, the Heavenly Tao Buddha, and other mighty figures are here. Really? Jiang Yi was suspicious. This guy really knew how to brag. At this moment, Hanju invited him into the simulation trial. At first, Jiang Yi was very surprised. Hanju directly arranged for Diamond Rage to fight with him. After being beaten up, Jiang Yi's fighting spirit was aroused and he started to become obsessed with the simulation trial. The Black Hell Chicken looked at the dazed Jiang Yi and shook its head. It sighed and said, in Master's words, "This is another internet addict." Zhou Minghua shook his head and laughed. He even said that we should catch up to him. This fellow didn't cultivate the moment he came. He will definitely be surpassed by us in the future. The others were also amused. They had more or less been addicted to the simulation trial and knew how satisfying it was. A battle without fear of death was fatally attractive to cultivators. The battle in the simulation trial was so real, it was as if it was reality. But if he was killed, he wouldn't die or suffer any side effects. Such a mystical power was simply unheard of. Hanju saw that Jiang Yi was starting to become addicted to the simulation trial and didn't care anymore. He continued cultivating. 40 years passed. Hanju wasn't close to the true mystic divine origin. Now, he started to absorb the negative karma of the 9 nether purgatory again. Pan Xin didn't dare to disturb him, so his days were peaceful. After playing the simulation trial for 10 years, Jiang Yi was deeply affected. He discovered that he was actually not in existence second only to Hanju in the hidden sect. He had no choice but to cultivate with all his might. The other disciples did the same. Their lives were not disrupted by Jiang Yi and the nether race's arrival. On this day, Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing the enemy while checking his emails. Your good friend Tai Su Tian has inherited the inheritance of the primordial Queen Mother of the West. Her providence has increased greatly. Your good friend Ji Xianshan has learned the Demon Emperor mystical power. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a cultivator from the Darkness sect, X32931. Your good friend Heavenly Emperor was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your good friend Immortal Emperor Samsara was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your good friend Zhang Guxing tried to devour the Sword Dao River and suffered a backlash. He was severely injured. Your good friend Huang Zuantian obtained a true dragon race divine weapon. Your disciple Su Qi has cultivated the body of misfortune and his cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Li Daokong slaughtered an ancient race. His negative karma has increased greatly. Hanju watched and felt that the immortal world had become exciting again. That dog Zhu Tu was still cursing the Heavenly Emperor. He's courting death. Facing Zhu Tu, Hanju was really in a dilemma. Without any favorability or hatred, he didn't know about Zhu Tu's situation. This made him feel that no matter how he cursed him, it was useless. After all, this fellow was the strongest in the calamity. Hanju also noticed that Immortal Emperor Samsara was attacked. It seemed that Immortal Emperor Samsara also had his own grudges. This was also a good thing, in case this fellow wanted to harm him. There was also Zhang Guxing. He actually wanted to devour the Sword Dao River. He was so daring. Hanju used to think that Zhang Guxing was a righteous person who protected the Sword Dao. Now, he felt that it was different. It seemed that when he was imprisoned in the Divine Palace, Zhang Guxing had been provoked. Reading on, Li Daokong had actually slaughtered an ancient race. To be honest, Hanju didn't feel that he was courting death. Even if his negative karma was overwhelming, Li Daokong would probably be able to wash away his negative karma. However, Hanju felt that Li Daokong would be a tragic figure. He had deduced many times in the future, but Li Daokong was not the final winner. Furthermore, the final winner had slaughtered all living beings, which meant that Li Daokong had also died in the calamity. Thinking of this, Hanju couldn't help but warn himself. The experts on the surface were not terrifying, the sinister ones hiding in the dark were. Even with the system around, Hanju couldn't be careless. After all, in the future, he had failed and didn't protect the people he wanted to protect. After cursing the enemy, Hanju continued cultivating. According to his estimations, he was not far from breaking through to the true mystic divine origin. The stellar primordial body was really powerful. It could absorb negative karma and ensure that his cultivation speed was always extremely fast. How difficult was it for ordinary deity realm mighty figures to break through a minor realm? It might even take forever. Hanju was different. Even if he reached the deity realm, he could clearly feel that he was becoming stronger quickly. Not long after he continued cultivating, the heavenly Tao token stirred. The heavenly emperor contacted him. Hanju accepted the call. Can you still deduce how recently? The heavenly emperor asked. Hanju asked in surprise, what's wrong with him? Ever since the demon emperor attacked last time and Howard was captured by him, he has been missing. I tried my best but still couldn't find him. I had no choice but to ask you. Speaking of this, the heavenly emperor blamed himself. After all, he had not protected his son well. Long Hao was abducted by the demon emperor in the heavenly court. To the heavenly emperor, it was definitely a humiliation, even if the demon emperor had already died. Hanju said, I'll try. He silently activated the derivation function. I want to know where Long Hao is. 50 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? So much? But this fellow was not an immortal emperor. Hanju showed a frown. However, when he thought of Hao Tian, he felt relieved. Continue. A line of words appeared in front of him. The answer is not precise. Detected a rough location, in the immortal world, at the 29th heaven. Hanju showed a frown. That's it? He said helplessly, Your Majesty, I can't deduce where he is either, but I sense that he seems to be in the 29th layer of heaven of the immortal world. 29th heaven? Crap. The heavenly emperor was shocked and hurriedly ended the conversation. The heavenly Tao token stopped shaking. Hanju was surprised. Could there be a secret on the 29th level? He used his interpersonal relationships to check Long Hao's portrait. He was not possessed by Hao Tian. In that case, Hanju couldn't be bothered. He couldn't come out of seclusion, anyway. After putting down the heavenly Tao token, Hanju quickly entered his cultivation state. 7 years later, Hanju suddenly felt a powerful curse attack. He couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. What happened? Who's messing with me again? Hanju activated the 36th grade reincarnation world destruction Black Lotus and used his negative karma to resist the curse. With the help of the 36th grade reincarnation world destruction Black Lotus, Hanju was no longer ravaged by the curse. He pinched his fingers to deduce, but he couldn't deduce the source of this curse. New SD rise at Nvel Bin. Cole looks like they're also afraid of being discovered. They're all imitating me. Hanju thought disdainfully to himself, you can curse anyone but me. I want to know who cursed me. 100 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. He had consumed a lot of his lifespan recently, but it was still far from hitting a round number. Hanju was not afraid of spending it. Immediately after, Hanju felt dizzy and realized that he had jumped into another scene. He opened his eyes and discovered that he had arrived in an underground cave. A figure was cursing someone with a book in front of him. It was Shui Mingyi. Hanju was very familiar with this guy. After all, this fellow had led many ancient races to create the darkness sect. Bastard! You even dare to curse your ancestor. If you don't die, who will? Hanju was furious. At this moment, he suddenly heard Shui Mingyi muttering, Dark Forbidden Lord, do you feel it? I hope you'll like this. What did he mean? Hanju was surprised. The reason why Shui Mingyi cursed him was to attract his attention? Wait! How did Shui Mingyi know that he was the Dark Forbidden Lord? The Demon Emperor, Zhu Tu, the Heavenly Tao Buddha, and the other mighty figures did not know. How could he? The scene shattered and Hanju returned to the Khanate cave abode. He continued to ask, "Does Shui Mingdi know that I'm the Dark Forbidden Lord?" "No!" This time, the system did not deduct his lifespan. Hanju couldn't help but ponder. Why? Could it be that it involved his current karma and would not deduct his lifespan? That didn't seem right. Could it be the after-sales service? Hanju couldn't figure it out and couldn't be bothered to think about it anymore. He started to think about Shui Mingdi. Before long, the curse vanished. It was obvious that Shui Mingdi was not targeting him. But why was he cursed? Hanju couldn't help but think of the forces related to him. Could it be that Shui Mingdi was cursing the Heavenly Court or the Nether Race? Hanju continued to ask in his heart, why did Shui Mingdi curse me? 50 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. He is cursing the Heavenly Court. Indeed. Hanju immediately took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing Shui Mingdi. Although Shui Mingdi was very likely his fan, he threatened the Heavenly Court. Hanju had to take action. Hanju prepared to spend 1 billion years to warn Shui Mingdi. Several days later, in the catacombs, boom! The terrifying aura shook the cave. Shui Mingdi was meditating and circulating his energy with an extremely pale face. He was being cursed. It's definitely the Dark Forbidden Lord. Shui Mingdi shivered. This was the first time he had felt such a powerful curse. Only such a curse could drive the Demon Emperor and the Heavenly Tao Buddha mad. Therefore, it could only be the Dark Forbidden Lord. Not only was Shui Mingdi not afraid, but he was also very excited. The Dark Forbidden Lord finally responded. With the Dark Forbidden Lord's strength, he could definitely curse him to death easily. However, he did not, which meant that he was transmitting information. The Dark Forbidden Lord was hiding in the Heavenly Court? It was possible. No wonder nothing happened to the Heavenly Court among the 4 overlords. The Demon Court was about to collapse, the Buddhist sect had lost a Buddha, and the Divine Palace had changed owners. Only the Heavenly Court had obtained the help of the Tao sect. No matter how he looked at it, the Heavenly Court was protected by the Dark Forbidden Lord. As Shui Mingdi was thinking, an even stronger curse surged over. Oh no! He couldn't withstand it! Shui Mingdi spat out a mouthful of blood and formed hand seals with both hands to stabilize the dermic powers in his body. Fortunately, the curse did not continue to strengthen. It dissipated after 5 minutes. Although Shui Mingdi had suffered internal injuries, it was not serious. He didn't hate the Dark Forbidden Lord. Instead, he was happy. The Dark Forbidden Lord did not kill him because he wanted to accept him. Shui Mingdi put himself in his shoes. If he was the Dark Forbidden Lord, he wouldn't hold back if he wanted to kill someone. With these thoughts in mind, he felt even more respect for the Dark Forbidden Lord. From now on, the Heavenly Court cannot be targeted. I have to ally with them to show my good intentions. Shui Mingdi wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and revealed a sinister smile. He felt that he was too smart. This way, he could confirm where the Dark Forbidden Lord was. Zhu Tu, you pretended to be the Dark Forbidden Lord. Just wait for your death. I can't defeat you, but the Dark Forbidden Lord will definitely not let you go. Shui Mingdi began to look forward to the outcome. After teaching Shui Mingdi a lesson, Hanju continued cultivating. Time passed. 10 years later, Hanju's cultivation level increased again. He stopped cultivating and took out the Heavenly Tao token to contact the Heavenly Emperor. Soon, the Heavenly Emperor connected to his divine sense. Hanju asked, "Your Majesty, have you found Hao?" The Heavenly Emperor said with a solemn tone, "I've found him, but I can't bring him back. Next, if he looks for you, you can pretend that you had never accepted him as your disciple." What do you mean? Did he betray us? Or was he possessed? I can't say. He wasn't possessed, but he's in danger now. Believe me. Between Long Hao and the Heavenly Emperor, Hanju definitely trusted the Heavenly Emperor more. The Heavenly Emperor was someone who treated him well, and Long Hao was definitely someone who Hanju treated well. Hanju said, I understand. How's the Heavenly Court recently? The Heavenly Emperor said, not bad. We're constantly devouring the territory of the Demon Court and have also obtained the allegiance of many forces, including the most prominent Darkness sect. They took the initiative to express their goodwill and formed an alliance with the Heavenly Court. It's probably the Dark Forbidden Lord's intention. Hanju thought to himself, Shui Mingdi is quite perceptive. In that case, he did not have to die. Hanju said seriously, Your Majesty, the Dark Forbidden Lord is mysterious and unfathomable. You have to be careful not to be used. Don't worry, I know what to do. As long as they don't go against the Heavenly Court, everything can be discussed. The two of them continued to chat for a while before severing their divine sense connection. Heavenly Court! In the Imperial Garden, the Heavenly Emperor put down the Heavenly Dao token and muttered, Is he really unrelated to the Dark Forbidden Lord? Shui Mingyi said that it was the Dark Forbidden Lord's intention to cooperate with the Heavenly Court. If that was true, the Dark Forbidden Lord should be from the Heavenly Court. He couldn't help but suspect Hanju again. However, Hanju told him to be careful of the Dark Forbidden Lord. It didn't make sense. What am I thinking? His talent is already strong enough. Why would I still expect him to rely on his own methods to help the Heavenly Court? The Heavenly Emperor shook his head and laughed, feeling that he had too many fantasies about Hanju. He frowned. Since the Dark Forbidden Lord had nothing to do with Hanju, it was very likely that he would harm the Heavenly Court. Why did the Darkness sect take this step? In the immortal world now, the Heavenly Court was already the strongest force. Under such circumstances, the Darkness sect helping the Heavenly Court would only help them successfully win the calamity. If the Heavenly Court won, what could the Dark Forbidden Lord obtain? A conspiracy. The more the Heavenly Emperor thought about it, the more uneasy he became. After all, the calamity had yet to reach its peak. Perhaps the Heavenly Court's calamity had yet to truly arrive.